Hello, my name is Layla Schrank. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, and welcome to the NutriCast, a podcast about holistic nutrition and how you can heal your mind, body, and spirit through food. This is episode 1, College Micronutrients. In this episode, we will be talking about micronutrient deficiencies and dietary issues as seen in college students and addressing the question, how is the academic and social performance of college students impacted by micronutrient intake? As a second-year student who works part-time and is taking a full course load, I have a decent amount of experience with college living, especially dorm living, and I bet a lot of you can relate when I say that eating healthy or even eating at all in this setting can be super hard. We're busy people, and it's hard to find time to sit down, plan our meals, and eat food that will properly nourish our bodies. But before I talk about college students specifically, I think it's important to look at what micronutrients are and briefly look at what they do for our bodies and brains to give us a little bit of background. So, what is a micronutrient? According to the World Health article titled Micronutrients, micronutrients are vitamins and minerals the body needs in very small amounts. A question I get when I talk to friends and family about micronutrients versus macronutrients is, why do we need so few micronutrients but so many macronutrients? And the answer is actually pretty simple. So those macronutrients, those proteins, fats, and carbohydrates that we intake are what our bodies are using to power us through our day. Whereas micronutrients are what power our metabolism and allow us to break down those macronutrients and to also break down the micronutrients that we are ingesting when we eat our food. So not only do they break down the macros that we're eating, but they also replenish the micros that we're using in our metabolism. Without them, we wouldn't be able to extract any nutrients from anything we're eating. Aside from helping us extract energy from macronutrients, micros have many other functions within the body. According to the article Micronutrient Inadequacies in the United States Population, an Overview, written for the Linus Pauling Institute Micronutrient Information Center, micronutrients play important roles in basically every single chemical reaction happening within the body. Now, we all know our basic micronutrients like our vitamins A, B, C, and D, or minerals like sodium and iron, but many people don't know exactly what they're doing for us. Because of this, micronutrients are often overlooked, but they actually do a lot of crazy important things. They're important for many physiological functions like our metabolism, nervous system, digestive system, blood cell production, cell wall maintenance, maintaining the immune system, absorption of other micronutrients, blood clotting, hair, skin, and nail quality, blood sugar levels, you name it, a micronutrient probably has a hand in it. They also have a significant impact on our mental and emotional health, which is not something most people think about. The article, The Impact of Nutrients on Mental Health and Well-Being, Insights from the Literature, states that a healthy intake of micronutrients is essential to preserve normal brain function. This is because micronutrients regulate mental function and also regulate the production of neurotransmitters, so those happy chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, and also those neural pathways that the signals in our brain travel through, can't function without micronutrients. Symptoms of anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, and cognitive impairments have been shown to improve with sufficient micronutrient consumption because of this. That same article I referenced a second ago, written for the Linus Pauling Institute, goes further into detail about the effects of chronic micronutrient deficiency as seen in the United States population. The article looks at how deficiencies affect the human body and the different ways that symptoms of micronutrient deficiencies present themselves. The article notes symptoms such as fatigue, impaired cognitive function, memory issues, mood swings, sleep issues, and reduced ability to fight infections are all symptoms of micronutrient inadequacies, which makes it very difficult to properly diagnose micronutrient deficiency because all of those symptoms are seen in just about every other illness. So, we know the importance of micronutrients in our diet and the issues that come with a micronutrient deficiency. Now, how does that tie into college students? I looked long and hard trying to find data on the micronutrient intake of college students, and I was able to find 2 sources that show the statistical data of what micronutrients college students are deficient in and how it correlates to deficiencies in other micronutrients, as well as what that looks like for our mental, physical, and emotional health. The first article, Evaluation of Dietary Intake in Children and College Students with and Without ADHD, doesn't show strong association between ADHD and micronutrients, but it does provide useful statistics regarding college students' intake of micronutrients. One interesting thing the data showed was that whereas children were nourished and were meeting the recommended daily amount for most micronutrients, college students were deficient in almost every micronutrient they were tested for, which was 14 out of 19 micronutrients. And those remaining 5 micronutrients were still in the very low range when they were tested. The second article, The Association Between Dietary Zinc Intake and Health Status, took an in-depth look at zinc levels in university students and how they correlate to levels of other micronutrients, as well as depression, anxiety, and sleep quality. Not only were half of the participants deficient in zinc, but zinc-deficient students also showed a clear deficiency in nearly every other micronutrient, aside from vitamin D. On top of that, students that were deficient in zinc, as well as the other micronutrients, showed heightened levels of poor sleep quality, sleep disruption, anxiety, and depression. Together, the data presented in these articles suggest that college students are not getting enough micronutrients, especially when deficient in other micronutrients. It also shows that those of us who are deficient in micronutrients are more likely to suffer from mental health issues and sleep disruption, likely because of the role they play in making sure our brain runs smoothly. If you're getting poor sleep and are suffering from anxiety and depression, it's likely that your overall mental health, social life, and academics will suffer as a result, especially when you are in the college environment. A journal article titled A Systematic Review of the Association of Diet Quality with Mental Health of University Students takes a deeper look at exactly how diet and academics play off of each other. This article completed 44 studies on how diet quality affects academic performance and mental health in 44 different countries, and found a strong association between anxiety stemming from being a college student and the intake of unhealthy foods. Not only are college students not getting enough micronutrients in their diet, but the anxiety that comes with being a student produces a vicious cycle of stress and bad nutrition. Also, on a personal note, college students' diet quality is significantly impacted by their restricted access to food. As a student living on campus, I have personally noticed with my experience and listening to friends' experiences that it is very hard to get food off campus, not from the dining halls, especially when you don't have a car. When the nearest grocery store is a 45-minute bus ride away and I'm having a busy day, it's just not realistic to go get and prepare my own food. In combination with depression, sleep disruption, fatigue, and decreased immune function, the cycle of anxiety that nearly all college students seem to experience surrounding school and food makes it nearly impossible to devote time to making sure you fuel your body correctly. So, after looking at the role of micronutrients in the body and the symptoms that arise when we are deficient in micronutrients, we can recognize that college students' ability to excel intellectually and thrive personally is closely linked to maintaining a steady intake of micronutrients in combination with a healthy diet and lifestyle. It seems like anxiety from being in college and lack of access to nutrient-dense foods come together to create this micronutrient deficiency, and once we're deficient in micronutrients, our bodies and brains simply cannot function at their highest potential, and our deficiency in mental health, social life, academic stress only gets worse. Without micronutrients, our brains don't work, we cannot metabolize the little food we have time to eat, we get sick easier, and it's all around just harder to live. The health and well-being of our next generation is at stake because of the poor diet facilitated by the college lifestyle. The sources I referenced in combination with my personal experiences make it clear that students, colleges, and universities need to take on a greater responsibility when it comes to making sure students are consuming the right amount of micronutrients. Otherwise, we will continue to suffer socially, personally, and experience high levels of stress surrounding academics. We don't deserve that. Thank you for listening to the NutriCast. This is Layla Schrank, signing off.